Yo,
Yo, it's earthquake report time. This is the earthquake report for September 15th, 2018. Let's look at the earthquakes. To start off, we have a 4.7 magnitude in Mexico, already highlighted in red as it was recent, as well as a 4.9 in Peru, a 5.1 Pacific Antarctic Ridge, 4.8 Southeast Indian Ridge, and 4.7 Fiji region. So just kind of working up the map here. 4.6 in the Philippines, next to another 4.7 in the Philippines. And you can see here some activity that I'd like to highlight because you can see that it's very active in this region. Well, it's hard to tell with the way it's literally layered on top of each other, but it's been quite active in Japan and across. You can see that there are fault lines here, and there's a wall. When we look at earthquake 3D, we'll look more into this in a little bit, but you can actually see kind of the lines and the walls and stuff, and so that there's been just quite a lot of activity in this general vicinity, and that it's 5.2, 4.6, that's Mariana Islands. But looking here, we have 7 out of 36 earthquakes in the map area today. 7 of them were here in Japan, at Nago, Japan, or Nago, Japan. And you can see the largest earthquake of the day, the most highlighted earthquake on this video, is this 5.6. And that was also the most highlighted of yesterday's video, or the one in the title. So my point is that there's been quite a bit of decently large activity in this specific area, and you can see that when you do the 7-day, we'll do a 7-day, that all that does, and we'll just even keep it right over here. So if you add on the 7-day, just yesterday's earthquakes additionally, and you see that it puts 13 earthquakes there, and that's 13 earthquakes between 4.8 magnitude and 5.6 within the past day. So that's a lot of larger earthquakes for one specific area at one specific time. And again, the largest earthquake of the day was in that area. So, and that was the second largest, the 5.5, as well as this other 4.8 Hasaki, Japan, and 5.4 registered as Russia. A little swarming in Alaska, and a little swarming here and around Puerto Rico and the Dominican, as well as one 2.7 magnitude Crescent, Oklahoma. I guess that's north of Oklahoma City, and west of Stillwater and Tulsa. And we'll also look at this 4.6 in Poland, 4.6 magnitude, and I believe there's probably shake reports for that, so let's go Look at the shake reports. And there's just a 5.0 felt in Mexico, offshore Mexico. Okay, the Poland earthquake. Mining solid 8, a region probably that it didn't translate. So, maybe it's trying to infer that it's mining, though 4.6 for mining is, I believe, pretty large. This is saying there's a 5.8 in Western Australia 16 minutes ago. Let's see if that's... there's a C next to it. Usually that means it would be registered on other agencies. And... you can see Perth. Oh, here. Perth. So this 5.8 here in Western Australia would then become the largest of the day. Largest quake of the day. So let's look at next to that, just the Japan. There's a 5.6 and a 5. We'll do this one. 5.6. That one was 21 hours ago. Again, you can see the shelf here. It's like visible on the map and satellite imagery and topographical maps. Let's see, anything else interesting? I want to look at that. Okay, you can see that just Japan, 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 Japan. Lots of activity around Japan. And this one's registering this 5.2. The one in Australia is a 5.2. Okay, here, so you can see it is registering on USGS as Kojo Nup, Australia. So there you go. That is registering. Though again, 5.4 there and 5.8 on Gimpa. So see the difference here. We'll check on the saying a 5.4. It's got some felt reports. Okay. Let's see. I just parked the car and it was shaking. That's in Perth. So 250 kilometers away, or 247. Kitchen window rattled very briefly. Sounded like someone was knocking on it. Never heard it make that sound before. Only recognized it from the earthquake I felt in Bali. My chair swayed for a good few minutes. My chair swayed for a good few seconds. Felt the chair slightly shake. Oh, lateral motion about 2 hertz. And that's, again, in Perth, 250 kilometers away, give or take. So, a powerful enough earthquake to shake it there. You can see here Bahrain is registering these is like 5.8 magnitude, so 5.8 and 5.9 magnitude, so nearly 6.0, and that would be multiple of them. That even the other ones are even like a 5.7 here and 5.6. So you know, various different reports is saying 5.2. Okay, let's look at earthquake data. No super deep quakes. That's what just quickly pull from this, no red, and you can see some orange. So that's not too deep. Alright, there was a 3.1 magnitude earthquake. Let's click here and bring this down. This is the Geophysical Institute of Israel. This is reporting earthquakes out of Israel. This is the largest earthquake out of Israel since there was a 3.3 in the Mediterranean Sea in August. So this 3.1 magnitude West Sirhan, again, we'll click it. I think I was watching a video, I don't think, I was watching a video, and if you look at this, it looks as though this is like volcanic, maybe? That this is volcanic and this is like large portions of this area are volcanic in nature. So that would probably, point. And also, again, so the sixth seal of the book of Revelation seems to indicate that there's an earthquake event at the great city, or some sort of event, a seismic event or an earthquake event, some sort of event at the great city in which the Lord was crucified. So that would be Jerusalem, but within the context, that could also be, by the end of it, whatever place would have done that symbolically, to me, And so that's why it's a symbolic Sodom in Egypt. But I do believe that you'll see very soon, regardless of either one of those that it is, that happen, like a large seismic activity in the mega city, the great city that crucified the Lord. Alright, let's move on to volcanoes here. You can see ash advisories, sporadic puffs at Sabancaya, erupted at Sakurajima, ash advisory at Popocate Patal, Ebico has erupted. So all these volcanoes letting you know they're still active. You can see Sakurajima here, I guess covered by some clouds, but also I guess could be ejecting something. Can't really tell at the moment just because of the clouds. Same thing with everything, so I'll just move on. Looks like things are getting back to normal here in Hokkaido. Western Australia is being registered as 5.7 to 5.89 here, and a 6 point something, so maybe there's more? No, just one. Is there another here? Any more testimonies? Ran outside, definitely unsettling with the shaking and everything rattling. That's in Albany, Australia, 125 kilometers from the epicenter. The feeling was more pulsing than swaying, like I was being rocked back and forth side to side for about 5 seconds. Okay. Scary. And that's Walpole. Seemed to last for ages. The windows and doors were all rattling. Probably was only about a minute. That's 88 kilometers from the epicenter. Felt quite unnerving. My house on stilts was shaking. The pictures on the walls were moving. No, I think I read that earlier. But no, did I? I've only ever felt the earth shake like that in Bali. Was someone else in Bali here? Yeah, only recognize that from Bali. Okay. Whole house shook. Car alarms going off. Whole house shook. We heard rumbling. Alright, well, there you go. It's quite a jarring earthquake in Western Australia. Let's look back here. This is saying there's a 4 magnitude and a 5.8 magnitude in Japan. It's someplace, I believe maybe this is a location or something, but it's in Japanese. Alright, so you can see that Hurricane Florence is still raining down on different areas within the southern United States, and that it has caused some problems for people. You can go on my Twitter here, and there's literally a very long thread here. This one's, it's covering both Typhoon Mangkhut as it hit the Philippines, and as you go up Florence and the damage that Florence is doing. And if you go up even before that, it's covering the earth. I mean, well, it's covering the storms in Hawaii as they were forming and happening, and it's where from the earthquake report yesterday I had this suddenly part where suddenly you're going to be visited by Yo. And okay, so as this storm is going here, and it's actually it's actually seemingly passed over the major portions where it was going to do what it was going to do, though you can see it's still basically sitting over the places that it hit with the most force. So we look at Typhoon Mangkhut, or Ompong, and you can see the wind just driving rain across the screen, and I believe this is maybe Hong Kong. And let's see, says HK. So yeah, it's probably Hong Kong. Saw some videos of it breaking windows and causing problems in Hong Kong, like just the winds. And you can see here, it's still covering a large portion of that area. And here, wind speed. You can see wind speeds about, it says like 70, and I think you can see it on the screen there. And it's just driving driving rain, whipping rain across. Those might be streets that normally have, don't have water on them. So, let's see, wind gusts of up to 120 miles an hour, 117 it said. Let's see, tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow it's already moved on, but today it's doing its thing. You can see it's going to drop a lot of water as it moves through China. And okay, let's look at anything else. Let's look at any more of these. Lasted about 50 seconds. It was okay. Whole house shook. Felt the house move. Okay. Let's see if Gemba keeps it as a 5.8. I think it just automatically does it. I don't know. I didn't have to reload there. I guess I'm going to reload everything. 5.8. Still registered as 5.8. This one's saying 5.2, 5.2. Okay. Well, so there you go. Different varying places around the world seeing, you know, the events in increased quantities of seemingly being looked at by EO. Let's look at the earthquake report. Let's look at the earthquake 3D. The earthquake 3D. And so first thing, Fiji quakes are typically very deep, pulled off. See, the Australia quake wasn't very deep at all, but it was large, 5.4. But then again, you see that there are a number here in Japan, like 4.8 to 5.6, and a lot of them are covered up by each other. That's how many there are in just that one area. And again, on the other fault here and up here. So that would probably be indicator an increased amount of activity, as well as a 3.6 here and a 2.7 in Hawaii. And I noticed again another day of where it seemed to be that there was swarming going on in Hawaii. 10. I mean, this is less than there were. We'll do this all magnitude. Okay, that's not less than there were over in Japan, but remember there were 13 like magnitude 5 something earthquakes right here over the past couple days. So something to look at, something to keep an eye on. And that's about it for today as far as observations. I don't really do earthquake forecasts in the sense of where I'm just like guessing what, like based off of observing what the physical thing is doing already. But I could probably say look out for more earthquakes in places where, you know, people are going to leave reports like they were just leaving here in Australia. And how about this? How about some interesting activity in Texas? Next report we'll see. I believe there will be some interesting activity in Texas. So that's it. That's all. Hope you have a blessed day. Oh, how about this? Texas and Japan. Definitely think Japan is, I mean, I've been saying that for a while, but Japan would seemingly indicate that this is going on. Also here, I'm going to add one more thing. So, we're approaching about 1,260 days away from this earthquake on April 25th in Nepal. So we're about 20 days away. And it was a very powerful earthquake that did a lot of damage and might be an indicator of the, you know, or the past couple years, like the last major earthquake that killed thousands of people in a major area. And again, 1,260 days ago, I believe that this time that there is a time a thing going on where I can explain that during different time periods you can slow things down and point out what's going on very precisely over those time periods, and that if you're awake and aware that that is something that very clearly is going on, and like this is a biblical period of witness from the book of Revelation, and then that's from the book of Daniel, I believe. So that this would seemingly be indicating, activity, as I've also been pointing out on my Twitter, and you've seen the events of this year unfold. So I'm indicating what I'm indicating. After this happens, the Bible would indicate, the Word of God becomes God, Emperor of the world. So that's what we're looking for. That's what's going on. That's actually after the 7th. So we'll, again, as I said, I think the 6th seal and, like trumpets and seals and plagues and all that stuff are like in some form of parallel. And so, to make that make sense, I'm going to not just ramble on. That's the end of the Earthquake Report. Have a blessed day. Yeah.